Archie's Madhouse, issue 25, Sister Sorceress. The narration asks what'll happen when irresistible force meets an immovable object. It's spelled irresistible wrong, but this is an exciting concept. We start out seeing two stereotypically ugly witches at the witches' tribunal. One of them is prosecuting Sabrina for kissing a boy for fun. The confusing thing is, she doesn't even specify mortal boy. It's like they want witches to die out. One of them even talks as if a boy-crazy witch is something that would never happen. While Sabrina did want to date guys in the previous issues, she still rejected the guy at the end of it. So her being prosecuted for doing this off-screen is annoying, since I thought she had more restraint than that. She promises Della it'll never happen again, as I wonder why Della didn't repeal the law against witches being boy-crazy after she became like that last issue. She's the head witch, so she makes the rules. Why does she think only she should be allowed to date because she's head witch? She tells Sabrina she'll give her another chance, and she wants her to hex the richest girl in town, Wanda. I guess her being rich is why she was targeted. You'd think Wanda would be a name for a witch. It made perfect sense as a name for a fairy in Fairly Odd Parents because it had the word wand in it. So Wanda being a mortal in this comic is kind of ironic. Della wants Sabrina to break up Wanda's romance with a guy that Sabrina digs herself. Oh, it turns out Wanda is also a teenage witch. Never mind, it really did take advantage of her name properly. Della says Sabrina doesn't know Wanda's a witch yet. But witches make it so obvious that they're witches. You'd think she would have figured it out. Why were Sabrina's memories of every time Wanda used magic erased? Della's asked what the point is of having two witches try to out-hex each other. She's brave questioning the head witch. If this was Enchantra, they would be turned into animals. Della just says it's the best way to train young witches by giving them a chance to test their powers against stiff competition. Aren't they skilled at magic enough? I never knew they needed improvement. So this seems arbitrary. I guess it's also to punish Sabrina more. After Sabrina gives Wanda's car a flat tire, the tire is magically fixed. Somehow Sabrina thinks it was her own fault and assumes her curse was only temporary and she needs more practice. Since when do witches make spells temporary by accident? She thinks she'll get Wanda at the picnic site with the witchmobile. Wanda's on a picnic with the guy, making me wonder why she isn't getting prosecuted. Maybe she is, and Sabrina was sent after her to punish her. But why isn't she being sent to the witches' tribunal? Why would she be given a different punishment? Why do witches bother agreeing to dates when they should know the head witch will always find out about it from surveillance? Sabrina uses magic to make it rain, and Wanda dumps some anti-rain powder on the ground. I guess stuff like that is made for witches too lazy to imagine something happening and point themselves. But it's annoying and confusing to not specify that. I'm pretty sure she could point and make it happen. Sabrina pins a love charm on herself and greets Hal. Wanda gets jealous and doesn't trust her, so she pins a love charm on herself. Hal asks her to join him, and then says the surprisingly amusing line, "Gosh, suddenly I feel very attracted to both of you girls." He actually admitted it in front of his girlfriend. I guess there's so many different ways love charms can look, or they can look any way they want. And that's why Wanda didn't see the love pin on Sabrina and instantly recognized it for what it was. I assume Wanda never met another teenage witch at her high school, so like Sabrina, she isn't used to considering that she might be dealing with one. Sabrina offers Wanda some paradise punch she spiked with a spell. Wanda says she'll try it if she drinks some of her special concoction. If Sabrina was smart, she'd just point at Wanda to brainwash her into drinking the drink. Instead, she somehow does what she's told. Sabrina feels drowsy and Wanda calls off the picnic, which gets Hal to storm off angrily as they both fall asleep. You'd think Sabrina would just point at Wanda and make her fall asleep. I guess she wanted a scientific explanation for the boyfriend to come up with, in case he realizes how suspicious it is that they fell asleep so easily. Wanda wakes up hours later with a headache, and so does Sabrina. So Sabrina says that only a fellow witch could prepare such a powerful witch's brew. Why isn't she assuming that she drank something with rupees in it instead? I mean, that's just as likely. That's actually even more likely. And in a pleasant surprise, Wanda's happy to learn that Sabrina's a witch, and they greet each other fondly, even though they hated each other before. Then they wonder where the love charms went. Did Hal take them? They go to Hal, and surprisingly for a 60s comic, Sabrina and Wanda casually suggest an open relationship. Sabrina tells Hal that he can date Wanda on Mondays and Fridays. But that won't get the chance to happen, as she's going to be very busy for a while. Because it turns out there's a new girl in town who's wearing 2 love charms, so that despite her ugliness, all of the guys want her. Why are the teenage witches even trying to date when they should know they'll get caught? They know they're being spied on. I guess that girl stole the pins from Sabrina and her. So this story was about Della sending 2 witches, Sabrina and Wanda, to outwitch each other. It's not explained why, but since it's apparently illegal for witches to date guys, I guess Sabrina's being sent after Wanda to punish her for dating a guy. But that doesn't make sense because Sabrina was punished for dating a guy completely differently. By being sent to a tribunal just to be immediately given another chance somehow. And you'd think Sabrina would have just pointed at her, not hoped that she would drink spiked punch. And is she in the habit of making her curses temporary by accident? So they end up making each other fall asleep because Sabrina decided to drink it, and then Hal doesn't want to be with them anymore because some ugly girl stole their love charms. I just don't understand why witches wouldn't be allowed to date guys. I guess it's realistic that witches aren't allowed to date mortal guys because they're mortals. They know that they can erase memories, but it doesn't matter, they just hate mortals that much. But Dell not explaining that is what makes it so confusing. Because if no witch was boy crazy in general, then witches would have obviously... then